In this video, I'm going to go over the review of Chapter 5, and we're focusing on sections 4 and 5. So this will be quizzed next class. So we know in question number 1 and 2, BD is going to be the median of triangle ABC. Okay, so let's mark that up a little bit. So this is your median right here. This is a median. And this is a median. So what do you know about a median? So a median comes out of the vertex and it divides the side opposite in two equal sections. Okay, that's what its job is. Come out of the vertex and divide the side opposite in two equal sections. So therefore, if you know that DC is 6, then AD has to be 6 as well. If you know that DC is 17, then AD is 17 as well. Now be careful with this kind of question, because what if I ask you for the length of AC? That's going to be 12, and the length of AC here will be 34. So read your question carefully and see what I'm asking you about. All right, so this question that covers 3 through 8 is the classic question. So the way I want you to handle this is to, first off, I would mark the centroid. So the centroid is where the medians all intersect. And it's always going to be inside the triangle. Okay, so that's there. Then I would start filling in some things. Okay, what I know is the medians, where they hit the outside of the triangle, they divide that segment in half. So AD is 8, and DB is therefore 8. And then the other things I know is that BE is going to equal to EC because E is the midpoint, and then AF is going to equal FC because F is the midpoint. Okay, so then other things we're going to do. All the lines that I'm going to color in green are going to be 2/3 of the length of the entire median. Okay, these are the longer segments. Then all the segments I'm going to color in pink are going to be 1/3 of the entire length of the median. Okay, but the other thing I know is this. And on each of the medians, I can say 2 times the pink color. Okay, so 2 times the pink color will equal the green color. Okay, so that's just another thing I'm going to keep track of. Okay, so now I'm ready to look at the questions. So, and they're giving me more information. So we took care of the AD, because I saw that. Okay, so I've taken care of whatever I can do with the AD. Okay, if AG is 10, then I know 2 times GE, because I'm going by this, has to equal AG. So therefore, what I know is that GE is going to be 5. Okay, and then that takes care of all the information I got from there. And then CD. Okay, so CD is that whole median. So I know that 2/3 of CD is going to equal my green piece. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, you can say this is like 18/1. So therefore, 2 times 18 is 36/3 equals the green piece. Or 12. equals my green piece. So let's fill that in. Okay, so where was that? It was talking about CD, so I just found the bigger piece. So I know that CG is 12, and I know 12 is 2 times the pink, therefore I know that's 6. So that takes care of writing in all the information that I know. So now I need to find the length of the following segments. So this should be much easier now that I've done this other work. Okay, so they want me to find BD, and I can look right on the figure, and I already have an 8 there. Okay, AB has to be 8 plus 8, which equals 16. EG was the smaller segment I found. AE is the entire median, so I have to add 10 plus 5, so that's going to equal 15. CG is the smaller, is the bigger section of the median, so that equals 12, and then DG equals 6. Okay, this is an important question. Okay, let's go on to the next page. So here it says, looking at the triangles to the right, find the midpoints of sides A, B, and C using the midpoint formula. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in what the points are for A, B, and C. So I have to use the grid behind it. Remember, the X always comes first. So point A is 2, 2. Point B is 4, 6. And point C is going to be 8, 4. So check these to make sure that they're correct, because I don't want to have that be an error, because that will upset the whole apple cart, so to speak. Okay, so to find the midpoint of side A, let's do the work down here. And I'm going to follow this formula. So the midpoint equals x2 plus x1. So why don't we just say 4 plus 8. 4 plus 8 divided by 2, comma, because that is your x value. And then 6 plus 4 divided by 2. So let's do that math. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. This point is 6, 5. Check on your grid. Where would that be? 6, 5 would be right there, and that seems like a reasonable place. Okay, so this is 6, 5, and that's the midpoint of side A. Okay, so let me change colors, and we will do the midpoint of side B. So let's maybe do this up here. So the midpoint of side B is going to be midpoint equals 2 plus 8, that's x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, 2 plus 4, that's y1 plus y2 divided by 2, comma, 2 plus 8 is 10, 10 divided by 2 is 5, 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 divided by 2 is 3. This point right here is going to be 5, 3. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and check my work. Okay, so we're going to do the next piece, which is going to be the midpoint of side C. But first, let me put my value right here. So this was 5, 3, and I already put it on my grid, and it works out. So then the last one is going to be midpoint of point C. So that's going to be x1 plus x2, or x2 plus x1, however you want to say it is fine. 2 plus 4 divided by 2, and this is the midpoint formula, and that's going to equal, excuse me, in the second, and the y value is going to be 2 plus 6 divided by 2. 2 plus 4 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. 2 plus 6 is 8. Excuse me, 2 plus 4 is 6. Let's do this correctly. I looked ahead. 2 plus 4 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. 2 plus 6 is 8, divided by 2 is 4. So that's going to be 3, 4. And let's make sure that this seems reasonable. 3, 4 seems reasonable. So by putting it on my graph, had I not caught my first mistake when I added 2 plus 4, I said that was 8, I would catch it now because I would see that the better answer is what I have here. So always put it, if they give you the grid, put it on the grid to make sure you are getting a midpoint, or something that at least visually looks like a midpoint. So I showed all my work. So if I made a little error, or if you made a little error doing this, I could give you a lot of credit. So show your work on this. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Okay, so here we have that centroid again, and they want us to work with finding these various lengths. So let me just see if I can move this down a little bit. That's better. Okay, so let's look at what they have. So I can see right now my centroid is this point P right here. Okay, so that's my centroid. YP, so YP is 12. Okay, if YP is 12, then I know the smaller piece is going to be half of that, so that's 6. Okay, then they tell us that LX, that's on the outside, so that means these guys are equal, is 15, so therefore I know this guy is 15. And then they tell me LZ is 18. Okay, so if LZ equals 18, then why don't we do the smaller one this time? Then LP equals 1/3 of 18. 1/3 of 18, I can do this cross cancellation, is 6. Otherwise, just say 18 divided by 3 is 6. And so that means that LP is 6. If LP is 6, then PZ is 12. So I've done this kind of work. Now let's see if we can answer these questions. Find the length of LY. So LY is the 15. That's on the outside of the triangle. I know it's 15 because L right here is a midpoint, so it divides that piece in half, 2 equal halves. Find the length of YN. Okay, YN is the entire median. So it's going to be 12 plus 6 or 18. Find the length of LP. So LP, let me see where I am. Okay, LP is the smaller of the two pieces of the median. So that smaller one was 6. So this is very similar to questions 3 through 8. So you have 2 chances to practice this. Okay, so now, what are we going to do? Is it possible to construct a triangle with the given side lengths? If not, explain why. So remember, any 2 lengths of the triangle have to be greater than the third length. So try your combinations. So then I'm going to say 9 plus 15 has to be greater than 8, and 8 plus 15 has to be greater than 9. So check these. Okay, 8 plus 9 is 17. That is greater than 15. That works. 9 plus 15 is clearly greater than 8 because either of these numbers is greater. And 8 plus 15 is also greater than 9. So you can say yes. Yes, this is true because, so I can say the sum of any 2 sides of a triangle has to be, I'm going to say must be greater than the third side. Okay, and that's my reasoning for this. Okay, let's check the second one. So the second one, I had to go through the same procedure. I'm going to check, is 4 plus 7 greater than 13? 4 plus 7 is 11, which is not greater than 13. So this is a no. So I know right away, all I have to do is find one thing that doesn't work. So I'm going to say no, because the sum of two sides of triangle is not greater than the third side. So the first one, 13, was a yes. 14 was a no. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Okay, question 17. And 17 asks you to look at this triangle. Now, they have given you... Hold on a second. Yeah. Am I right? 13, 14. Okay, hold on a second. 15, 16, sorry. Here's 15 and 16. Okay, so it says using an inequality statement. So what does that mean? An inequality statement has to have the greater than or less than in it. Write the possible lengths of the third side of the triangle given the lengths of the other sides. So this is what we practiced. Here's your third side. It has to be less than something and greater than something else. So it's going to be greater than the difference of the two sides and less than the sum of the two sides. And down below, I'm telling you how I'm getting that work. We can do the same one, this next one the same way. So you have to memorize which way your inequality signs are going. Okay, so it's going to be 21 minus 14, which is going to be 7. And then this is going to be 21 plus 14, which is 35. And those are your answers. Okay, so you have to have your inequality signs facing the right direction. So you definitely want to know how to do this. This is an easy points question if you know how to do it. Okay, so here it says, list the sides in order from smallest to largest. Find your smallest angle. That opposite it is your smallest side. For the next one, find your median angle. That's your median side. And then the last one, there's your biggest side. Go back and check. Make sure you're going in the direction they say. Smallest to largest. So what's your reasoning? Small angles yield small sides. Okay, and therefore big angles yield big sides. Medium angles yield medium sides. All right, so that should be clear, okay? So just visualize why that's true, and you'll always get this correct. Okay, let's go to the next page. I think I may have had one more down there. No, I think I'm good. Okay, so this is the last question. Okay, so same idea. List the angles now in order from smallest to largest. Okay, small sides beget small angles. So angle D is the smallest. Look for the next one in order. That's 19. Angle E is next. Okay, look for the biggest side. That gives you the biggest angle. Okay, so what if they gave you a situation where they didn't give you all three? Oops, sorry. Let me make that a little straighter. Let me backtrack. What if they didn't give you all three angles, for example? What if they said this was 30 and this was, say, 50? Okay, so if they gave you 30 and 50 and they asked you to list sides from, and we're going to do largest this time, largest to smallest, your first thing to do is to say there are 180 degrees in a triangle. So far I have 30 plus 50, that's 80. So I have to have another 100 degrees left. You must start out by doing that if they don't give you all three angles. Then once I have that, I want largest to smallest. So my biggest side is going to be across from the 100 degrees. That's going to be AC. My median side will be across from the 50 degrees. That's going to be AB. And my smallest side will be across from the 30 degrees. That will be BC. Okay, so they don't give you all three angles. Find the missing angle and then make the determination about the sides. Okay, so this should help. I will go back over this again if you need further clarification.